So as it turned out, I went from like 12 years of not going to church to going to 2, because I went to the Methodist church, did their choir, had practices and went to their services on Sunday. But I decided that, you know what, if I can go to somebody else's church, I can go to my own.
Yeah.
And so I went for like 12 years of not going to going to 2 every week.
Wow.
And it was wonderful.
Yeah.
It was wonderful. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had.
Welcome back to the Come Holy Spirit podcast. I am Daniel Ordonez, and I am not joined with Tom Wynn again today, but I'm very excited because I'm actually joined with another priest on the podcast. I'm excited. Here with Father Don today. He's been a priest in the Diocese of Dodge City for, he said, about 15 years now.
It'll be almost 15 years, yeah.
Almost 15 years. He's been here in Scott City, Kansas for 4.5 years. But what's actually cool, he's not just the pastor here in Scott City. He actually oversees 3 parishes.
Just 2 now.
2 now, okay.
I have St. Joseph in Scott City and St. Teresa in Dighton.
Awesome. Okay. So he's been, I guess, not currently the pastor of just St. Joseph, but another parish as well in Dighton, which is awesome. So a lot of responsibilities, a lot of things that he's doing. A little bit about what we're going to go over today. I'm really wanting to get into Father Don's vocation story, talking a little bit about that, his Catholic upbringing, and then also we're going to get into what it's like to be shepherding the flock, shepherding in the Diocese of Dodge City as a Catholic priest. And then something that I was really curious in getting to know, and Tom was curious about as well, is the short break between the Advent season and the Lent season and the short ordinary time and what we can do to prepare. But first things first, though, how's your day been so far?
It's been reasonably busy. I usually find something to do. The office doesn't open until 1 o'clock, and I'm not always on time, but I had plenty of going on this morning, and it's been just kind of catching up from the weekend and whatever, and getting started into the week. So there's been any number of little things coming up. So yeah,
that's awesome. So now obviously it's the new year. So we just went through New Year's and then Christmas. How is that for you? Were you able to go anywhere? Or I guess probably were here as well.
Yeah, I was here most of the time. I was able to go after Christmas. I was able to take off on that Sunday after Christmas and go up and see my family, which is up in north central Kansas.
Okay.
And spent a couple of nights up there, so that was nice, and then came back down. And it's been very busy. I will say that I'm really glad. As much as I love the Christmas season and all the celebrations, it's very beautiful. But when you have a major feast day like every 3 days, and scheduling all the extra masses and doing all the preparations and things that you have to do, I'm kind of glad that we're back onto a regular schedule.
Yeah.
So that's it. It's wonderful, but I must admit that I was very tired by the time we got it done, and everything went well. I don't have any complaints, but it's nice to be back on a regular schedule now. So yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, I could only imagine the life of a priest during Advent with all that is going on.
Oh yeah.
And then even leading up to that, because then a lot of parishes, they'll have like the Festival of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Well, yeah, that's it. You have the Immaculate Conception and Our Lady of Guadalupe. And then I think I was a part of 4 or 5 penance services.
Oh my gosh.
And plus, just getting ready for everything. And so it's demanding. I mean, it's good. It really is. It's a wonderful time, but you have to delegate your time and whatnot, and you don't waste a lot of time.
Yeah.
So yeah,
definitely. Yeah. There's not a lot of time, I guess, to waste during that.
No, there's really not.
Yeah. Because and then do you guys do a midnight mass for any of the?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
When I got here, I didn't. I just pretty much kept the same schedules that they had, rather than throw a wrench into the works. And have 2 masses on Christmas Eve, and then 2 on Christmas morning.
Wow.
And But the masses are like 4 o'clock and 6 o'clock in the evening, which is nice because then you're kind of done earlier. And then it's like 9 and 11 on Christmas Day. And so that's not bad.
Yeah. But then, so you do, and then you do all 4 of those masses because you're the only priest here.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Dang.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So very busy. That's awesome.
Well, but that's the normal weekend. That's my normal weekend schedule.
Dang.
I have 2 on Saturday evening and then 2 on Sunday. It's
actually kind of awesome that it's not like a major city, but you guys still have 4 masses.
Well, there's part of it is that the church itself in Scott City is fairly small.
Yeah.
And yet we have, 350 families or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Of course, they don't see them all. Yeah. But But if everybody were to come, it would be very, very difficult.
That is true. Standing
in Dighton, we have good attendance down there. The church is actually bigger in Dighton.
Wow.
But we just have 1 mass down there. Normally, they have it 9 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah.
Mass, and then also have a Spanish mass too on Saturday evening.
Oh, so I did not know that.
They have 5:30 and 5:30 and 7. 5:30 English and 7 in Spanish on Saturdays.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Wow. So things are moving. Things are moving.
Oh yeah, it's busy enough.
Yeah,
it's busy enough.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, dang. So I guess very curious. Obviously, doing all these things as a priest and been doing it for a while now, and obviously here in this assignment for 4.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
I guess what was that like originally? Obviously going to seminary and like getting the call to be a priest. I guess what was that whole story?
Every vocation story is unique.
Yes.
Everybody walks their own path, their own circumstances, whatever. Mine is definitely different than most because I didn't actually go to seminary until I was 50.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had a full life.
Yeah.
Out in the world, which actually I found that's been a very, very advantageous. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like to get up and go to work every day.
Yeah.
And to do different jobs and to do, to be a homeowner and all of that. And so I have a lot of life experience that a lot of young seminarians, don't really have. So I suppose my perspective is a bit different.
Yeah.
Than some. Yeah, I didn't call. I was raised Catholic, a good Catholic family. If it was going on at the church, we were there pretty much, Well, but then I made this discovery that when I got out of college, or when I got out of high school and I went to college, that there was nobody, kicking me out of bed to go to mass.
Yeah.
And so I didn't.
Yeah.
For quite a while. And if I could change one thing of my past, that would be the thing I would change. Kind of wandering away from the faith. And I was always a believer.
Yeah.
But if you're a believer, you need to practice. And I did not do well at that. And so I went through college. I had 5 years of college, got a degree in music education.
Okay.
I moved out to Jetmore. I got a teaching job there as a band director in Jetmore for a little while, and then I ended up not the band director part went aside, but I really liked it there, and I had made a lot of good friends there, and so I stayed. I ended up being in Jetmore for like 27 years.
Oh, dang,
a long time.
What was your favorite instrument when you were doing the whole?
I was a brass player.
Okay.
I played euphonium. Euphonia, it's baritone.
Oh,
basically.
Okay.
I started on trumpet, and then the euphonium, that we needed one when I was in grade school.
Yeah.
We needed somebody to play, and so they asked me if I would do it, and it fit me like perfectly.
Yeah.
And I just fell in love with it. And so it got me a college education. I got scholarships and all that stuff.
I was a trumpet player. That's why I was also brass. But I stopped at the end of high school. I was gonna go do it in college.
Oh, really?
Ended up, I guess not. I still don't know why, actually. I think it's because I had a job and I was like, just interferes. But
yeah.
You said 3 years.
I taught for 3 years, and then I just worked a couple of different jobs for a number of years. And I got myself, like I said, I wasn't practicing.
Mm.
And I got myself into a bad place. I kind of like I'd lost my purpose for life. And I can relate to people that, that feel can feel kind of hopeless. And it's like, why, we're going through this life and there's just no purpose, because that's kind of where I was at. And I got a call one day from a lady that she was the organist at the local Methodist church. And her son and I were friends, and they had lost their choir director at the Methodist church. And so so she called and asked if I would be interested in becoming the choir director. Yeah. And I was like overqualified for it, And I told her, I didn't tell her no at the time. I told her, look, I said, give me a chance to think about it and then I'll get back to you. Okay, fine. Well, I was not in a very good place, mentally depressed. I mean, I just wasn't happy with my life, and I didn't know what to do. And this sounded like, why would I want to do this? And after I hung up the phone, I was just like, I don't want this. Why would I want to do this? This is just crazy. Yeah. And it was then that I heard this little voice in the back of my head. Wow, Don, you should do this. And I'm like, okay. And so I found, and I'm like, I don't think I want to do this. No, Don, you need to do it. Yeah. And I could tell it was separate from me. Yeah. But it wasn't me thinking. Yeah. And yet it was this very audible. I mean, I could hear it in my head. And I'm thinking, my part of me is thinking, well, I think maybe I'm going crazy here because I don't. And I argued with this voice for, I don't know, a week or two, I suppose, on and off, Yeah. And I was like, I don't want to do this. But this voice said, look, if you do this, everything will be fine. Yeah. Just do. Yeah. Okay. So I called the lady back and I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'm not going to really commit, but I'll give it a try. We'll see what happens. And so as it turned out, I went from like 12 years of not going to church to going to 2, because I went to the Methodist church, did their choir, had practices and went to their services on Sundays. But I decided that, if I can go to somebody else's church, I can go to my own. Yeah. And so I went for like 12 years of not going to 2 every week. Wow. And it was wonderful. Yeah. It was wonderful. It was one of the greatest experiences I've ever had. Yeah. And the people at both places were just as kind and welcoming as you can ever hope for. Yeah. But I knew nothing of the Reformation, and although, I knew there was lots of churches, but I didn't have any idea what all that was about. And over the course of time, I began to pick out differences, because there was a lot of similarities. Yeah. But then I began to pick out differences. Yes. And the questions started to arise. Well, why? Why are we? Why do these do this and these do that? And they, and everybody claims to be right, and and it challenged a lot of my basic understanding about life and religion and who God is and why things are the way they are. And so anyway, I ended up, it was kind of the catalyst for me to find out what the truth is. Yeah. And I was always believed that there was a truth. Yeah. That one can't be here and one can be here, talking about the same thing, and they're different and they can both be true. Right. I couldn't wrap my mind around that. Yeah. So, and I honestly didn't care which was true. Well, and that got me started reading. It got me started listening. Wow. It got me started doing study and praying. And it became almost I guess it was an obsession in a lot of ways. And because I just became hungry for the truth. And I didn't care what the truth was. I didn't care where I found it, but I wanted it. Mm. And as I began to search, I searched it out like a Protestant does. Yeah. Why does the church teach this? And why does the church teach that? And why does the church teach, about Mary and about the saints and about the church herself and the Pope and what is this communion of saints thing about? And what about the sacraments? Yeah. I began to listen to, I listened to Christian radio. There wasn't Catholic radio to listen to. So I listened to Christian radio and they would talk about things. And then I'd go back and I'd listen to The Journey Home on EWTN. These shows where they usually have guests that would come on and they talk about their journey from whether paganism or Protestantism or wherever, Mormonism, whatever it is, and to the Catholic Church and what they were doing. And I was fascinated by their stories because I was doing the same thing.
Yeah.
Listening to them and trying to find out. And I learned so much. And on every single issue, and I didn't care where the truth was, but every issue I became Catholic. I mean, I became more Catholic because because I began to see how it all fit together. And in fact, it struck me one day that if I saw Catholicism as this globe that was perfectly formed, but if you took out one little piece of it, it would fall. The whole thing would crack. But it was perfect the way it was. Yeah. And so little by little, I was becoming more and more Catholic, and I was becoming less. And some of the issues, especially the Eucharist, was Jesus' true presence was a major part of the story. But there was lots of things. And little by little, I found myself, as much as I loved my choir. Yeah, it was wonderful, beautiful people. But I got to where I just couldn't hardly go to the Methodist Church. Not that nothing condemning, but this is not where I'm going. In fact, I remember one day I went there and the gospel reading was out of Matthew's gospel. And he tells Peter, "You are Peter, and upon this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell will not stand against it." And just this powerful vocation that Peter had, that he was the leader, and this was going to be the church. This is it. Well, they did the same thing over at the Methodist Church. Yeah. Same reading. Ooh. And he started out with this and loved the pastor, a young man. I think he's a bishop now. And he was a good preacher. He's a really good man, a good pastor and all. But he started out with this, this great, strong thing. And he ended up that, well, actually, we're just kind of a loose confederation of people that do this thing, and whatever we want to do here and want to do there. And it's and I was sitting there listening to this. Yeah. And the choir was back behind the preacher. The preacher was there. The choir was here. And it was filmed. Yeah. They had it on TV. Wow.
You can go back and watch that.
And so I did.
Oh my God.
I went back and watched it. He was talking about all of this. And I'm sitting here going, what? How do you go from this to that? Yeah. How do you get there? And I found myself starting to get up, and I was going to ask him, what are you talking about? And I thought, whoa, you can't do that. Yeah. And I went back and looked, and I saw myself start to get up, and I'm just like, okay, this is about done. Anyway, wow. I finally I just had to resign. But in the process of this, I could feel and sense that God was calling me to something. And I didn't know what it was. And I wasn't getting any older, but I still wasn't married yet. And that was probably the hardest part of this, because I knew God was calling me to something. I could sense it. I was taking classes at the diocese. I was doing all this stuff. I was singing in the diocesan choir, playing, and I was loving it. But I knew that wasn't it. I knew there was something else. I had people finally start coming up and say, "Don, you ought to be a priest." And I'd be like, well, I just don't feel the call. I said, I don't want to, I've got a job and a house and a dog and I've got a life, and I'm just like, I don't.
You had it all.
Yeah, it's all there, I was like, unless I actually hear this, unless I actually get this from the Lord, I don't think I can just up and go, Yeah. And one night I was at a Knights of Columbus meeting, and I was down in Hanston and Jetmore Head, or Knights of Columbus was together, and we were down in Hanston that night. And we were going to make donations to seminarians. Yeah, Knights are very good at it. You'll probably get into some of that.
Yeah,
I guess.
I received a check from Hanston.
Yes. And anyway, so I was sitting there on the chair and the table, and I remember that list of seminarians that we had. There was a list for Kansas City that was about this long, and a list for Wichita that was about this long, and then Salina was about there, and then Dodge City was here. Yeah. And so I'm sitting here, and this list is, and our priest at the time, Father Henry Hildefriend, who I miss, God rest his soul, I miss him a lot, but he had a great impact on me. But he was standing right behind me, and I was looking at that, and I said, "Father, what do you think?" Meaning, what you do with this? And he started laughing. He said, I think you need to go to seminary. And it was like a bomb went off. Whoa.
Yeah.
My whole spirit just erupted.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, there it is. Oh, there's the call. Oh no. Now what? What am I going to do? And when I drove home that night, I knew full well I was going to seminary.
Wow.
I knew I was. There was no, I don't listen well.
I agree with you there.
I don't listen very well.
Same.
And so God had to slap me upside the head pretty hard to get my attention. But I look back and I can see how all of these things I could see where God was leading me.
Yeah.
But it took, I had a lot of issues to deal with. And it was about a year and a half probably before I did go. But I was 50 when I went to the seminary. So I was the oldest guy there, but only by 6 months.
Wow. So there's another.
There were actually, I went to Mount St. Mary's in Maryland.
Yeah.
And there was guys from 21 to 50.
Yeah.
And it was pretty much spread all the way across.
Wow.
There was a lot of us older guys there. And it was one of the greatest experiences of my life. The idea of being a priest wasn't bad. I thought, hey, I think I can do that. But the idea of going back to school just was, but it turned out being one of the best experiences of my life. And I made so many good friends and had so many wonderful experiences. Mine is not your normal vocation story, but at the same time, all of the experiences that I've had through life have all been beneficial, I guess. I draw on all of that in one way or another, being a priest and a pastor. And I wouldn't trade the journey. I really wouldn't. Some of it was very hard. Yeah. I lost my parents, both of my parents, while I was in the seminary. And I remember when I told them that I was going to seminary, and my mother said, "Oh God, I hope I live long enough to see it." Yeah. And they both died when I was in first theology. It was about halfway through. That was a hard thing. Yeah.
You were able to give them still that gift of having a son as a priest.
Bishop Gilmore ordained me. The one to be ordained a deacon sits with his family at the beginning, and then he gets called out.
Oh wow!
Of the community or his family.
Yeah. And
so I was sitting there with Bishop. He did the introduction, and he said, "And I want to welcome all of you here today to this, great diaconate ordination for Don." And he said, "We give a special welcome to Don's dear parents, who have the best seat in the house."
Wow.
They both died when I was in seminary.
Wow.
And I lost it. The tears just flooded, and I cried to the whole damn thing. I could have hit it.
Yeah.
But I realized that I hadn't really taken the time to grieve for them.
Yeah.
And go through that process. And
I do like how you had brought up the point of, the age gap too, to where everybody's vocation story is different. Because so I'm 23 now and entered seminary, and it's so funny because part of me has the perspective, I had graduated college 3.5 years ago, and I was working, and it's I worked, but way different capacity now. And it's really funny at the house formation in Wichita, I'm the fourth oldest guy at the house.
Oh, yeah.
And there's 41 guys there.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's a minor seminary. So yeah, it's just so funny. All the guys are they'll call me Unc or whatever, just call me older. And I'm just guys, I'm only 23 years
Yeah,
old.
I know. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really liked your story too about talking about how you went to the Methodist and the Catholic Church at the same time, and that is really crazy difference how they talked about Peter being the rock, and obviously in the Catholic Church it's this is when the church was founded.
That's right.
It's in the Bible.
That's right.
And the Methodist Church they'll play around it because it's they're oh well, again they think they have this separate truths, right?
That's right.
And I think it's so beautiful that you were talking about when you were focusing on that, you didn't care which church was correct. You just wanted to find the truth.
I just wanted the truth. That's all I wanted.
I think that's what everybody needs to strive to pursue, just pursuing that truth.
And there's a lot of truth there.
Yes.
I used to think of myself as being extremely ecumenical, and I suppose I still am to some degree, but I will admit there are times when we have our ecumenical meetings, with the community and whatever. And it's good bunch of people and it's great and I enjoy it. there's some times when I'm not going to deny anything.
Yeah.
From what I believe, but like I said, we don't talk, and they're good people, and they, we all have we have a lot of things in common, and so we try to focus on those things.
And it's just that the path of sainthood, it's a lifelong thing.
It is.
We're always becoming closer and closer to Christ. So it's
yes,
yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, it'd be nice to just have everybody be like, everybody understand the fullness of the truth now.
That's right.
It doesn't work that way.
But it's been good, and I'm at retirement age now, which doesn't hardly seem.
It's been so fast. Yeah.
It's gone by so quickly.
Yeah.
It has.
Yeah. So I guess transitioning over, to that, and the time as being a priest, these past almost 15 years, I guess, what has that experience been like for you? Obviously being a shepherd of the flock here in the diocese and meeting all these parishioners and all this stuff, what has been the best part about it?
It's been wonderful. It really has. I was in Great Bend for 10 years, which was an adventure in and of itself. Well, just because it's a very large and complicated parish. And I was there for 2 years as the parochial vicar.
Okay.
Father Reggie Urban was the pastor. And he was there for 2 years. And then he took another assignment. And Bishop came and asked me if I would be, what my thoughts were about me being the pastor.
Yeah.
As the first pastor. I've been a priest 2 years.
Oh my gosh.
And to have 2 churches that are open, and we have services at both places. We live at one, we have office at the other. We had a staff of 9 full-time employees. I mean, this was crazy. At school and the whole thing. Yeah. And I was like, I don't know. I said, I don't know. That's just a lot. I was thinking something much smaller. Father Chuck Mazook is just 8 miles down the road in Ellenwood. I knew Father Chuck.
Yeah.
Seasoned pastor. Yeah. Good man. And I'm thinking, okay, yeah, that's right. If I need to do anything, I know Father Chuck. I trust him. He's a good man. And okay. All right, I'll do it. 1 month after I was made pastor, 1 month, they found esophageal cancer. He had esophageal cancer. He was gone. Oh, dang. I left Father Chuck. We just did his funeral here.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago? I felt like that I was on an inner tube out in the middle of the ocean. Yeah. That's how but you know what? Everything worked out, and ended up being a great experience. Being a priest in the diocese is great. I love our presbyterate. We tend to be we're very diverse.
Yes, very.
But I find us very united. Everybody gets along. Everybody's helpful to one another, supportive of one another, and I'm just as happy as I can be to be a priest out here, and I like it out. Of course, I like out. I grew out in Western Kansas, so I'm at home. Yeah. I'm at home out here. So the nice thing about out here, you just get to work with the best people in the world, and you really do. The people are so caring and giving. I can't ask for really anything better.
That's awesome. Yeah, just allowing God to utilize you as a shepherd of his flock, and and that's just so funny. It's that's right. I've reflected on a couple of times. It's like, wow, how did I make that decision or come to that conclusion? I don't think I would have ever come to that conclusion. It's like, the Spirit guided me to be able to go make that decision.
That's right.
Go and do something. That's right. So that's honestly how I felt when I went to seminary. I was reflecting the other day where the decision that I made to abandon it all and go and pursue God in this. I was like, I don't think I'm mature enough to make the decision I did then. And I don't know when I will be mature enough to make that decision, but God allowed me to. Yes. And just kind of helped me guide through that.
That's right.
That's right.
Your will be done.
Yes, exactly.
Ultimately,
your will be done.
That's what. And when we have that attitude, that is what will happen.
Yes.
God's will come, however it does. Sometimes it's a real surprise. Yeah. But it all falls into place, and you get to where you get to, and what becomes beautiful is that over the course of time, you kind of get to trusting that it's all going to be okay, and that ultimately everything will work out. And it may not go exactly the way you thought it was going to go or whatever, but that's okay, because in the end, the Lord is the one that sets it and puts things in place. God provides. Yeah, God does. He provides. And the more you go, the more you hopefully get used to it and to a degree expect it,
Yeah.
And that everything's going to work out.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just
It's
send it
okay.
over again.
So kind of transition in here a little bit.
Mm.
I'm getting into the topic of obviously now an ordinary time, this little gap of Advent and Lent. So for what I guess I don't know if you know like why we have the gap more, say, but then also just like what is a really good way of utilizing this time between this major Advent season and then going into this even more major Lent season, preparing for Easter.
And it developed over the course of centuries.
Yeah.
But having the Advent season, up to Christmas, and then having the Christmas feasts and all of that, then there's the preparation for Easter and the whole season of Lent of a real introspective time to prepare for the resurrection. And then you have this time. And I guess the way it works is Advent, right? We're talking about Jesus being born and all of this, and all of the wise and Mary and Joseph together and all of this, and then we have the beginning of Jesus' ministry.
Yeah.
That's where, that's what we start with now.
Yeah.
Right. Is beginning of Jesus' ministry, his public ministry, and how he's choosing his apostles and going through the enlightening, I guess, of who Jesus is and the work that he does and the power that he has and the love that he has and and calling people to him in various ways and curing and doing, and just blowing everybody away.
Yeah.
Just absolutely blowing everybody away. But then we come into the Lenten season, this preparation for his death and burial and then the resurrection. And we need this time. It just now strikes me, we need this time.
Yeah.
Because now we're going to talk about his ministry. Now we're going to talk about his gathering people to himself. Now we talk about, part of this is going to be sending his apostles out 2 by 2 to go to talk to people and do all of this stuff and setting things up. And they're coming to understand who Jesus is.
Yeah.
Little by little by little by little. And whatever they think they know, they just get blown away the next day or whatever. It just expands. Yeah. We need this time now that is really a remarkable. There's going to be some remarkable stories that is going to lead us into Lent and to the realization that this great thing that we are experiencing and hearing about is going to get challenged to its core.
Yeah.
And that it's going to get really ugly.
Yeah.
And that the world that Jesus came to save is going to turn on it. Yeah, we need the beginning of this. We need this because it's just remarkable.
Yeah.
The stuff that we're going to look at. And then to have that. Yes. And then you get into all this other stuff. It's just like, oh geez.
Yeah.
And it does put Jesus' ministry into perspective.
Yeah.
In a special way.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. Because obviously the Advent season preparing for his birth, and then we do have this, and then obviously just a few days ago we had his baptism. I guess it was yesterday. No, 2 days ago.
The weekend. Yeah,
over the weekend we had the baptism, and I guess I never saw it that way either. Like seeing all this ministry, and then challenging how much we actually know about Christ, just like the apostles, and it's like. When we think we have it all figured out, and then it's like, no, there's more.
There's way more.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then we think we have it all figured out again. It's like, wait, there's more.
That's right. That's right.
And I think that is so cool, like just putting our hearts in a position of like learning and pursuing Jesus and understanding him more. And then we get into Lent, and then it's that perspective like, oh my gosh, like we are preparing for when everybody just turns their back on him.
Oh yeah.
And
they all run away.
Yeah.
And they, I will stand you by. I will go to death with you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's easy to say.
Yeah.
It's another thing to do.
Yeah. So I guess that's just like the thing where like maybe like people during the season they just can like focus on like that preparation of like you are preparing for witnessing that of Christ being betrayed and like us betraying him in a sense too during this Lent season, but also just focusing on that we don't actually know as much as we think we do, and just like going in this like learning season every single time in this ordinary time, just like how much more can we understand God and how much more can we chase after him?
Sure.
Yeah, I think that's really good.
And we need to embrace this time because it's going to be challenged.
Yes.
And that's what life is going to do.
Mm.
We need to embrace it. We need to really take it deep within ourselves, because our culture is just as adamantly against the reign of Christ as his culture was. I mean, or, in a lot of ways.
Yes, I agree.
And, and you see it more. Like, there's nothing on TV to watch other than, watch politics, and it's just, and it's, there's a growing resistance, I guess, to the message of Christ and the message of God.
It's always a reflection point that I've had where people especially Christians today, Catholics, and we look back and we're like, wow, they were so cool to crucify Jesus, and why couldn't they just believe him? Why couldn't they just do all this stuff? And then I reflect on, if Jesus he came today, we would crucify him here as well. And just how culture is, we would reject Christ. We would not want to hear his teachings. And
absolutely. We don't want to hear it. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's going to be a really big reflection for me over this short period of ordinary time before Lent, just preparing preparing for this betrayal of Jesus, but also just learning to get us to know more. But also I think it's beautiful, as scary as that sounds, oh my gosh, we're preparing for the betrayal of Jesus, but then it wraps up with the most beautiful part of the story, which is his victory.
That's right.
And him actually resurrecting, defeating death, and opening up our door to be able to go and spend eternity with him. On the whole story of your vocation and everything, what advice or what would you like to say to those people that are discerning vocations, whether it's the vocation of marriage or vocation of whatever it is?
Oh, absolutely.
What advice would you give them to be able to help figure that out or hear God's calling through that?
The first thing that comes to my mind is to trust that even if you don't know what Jesus might have in store for you, do not be afraid of it. Whether it's religious life or going to seminary and become a priest or whatever, or to be married or to whatever, to not be afraid of what Jesus would have for you. His perspective is certainly different than ours, but he will take you where ultimately you will be happiest and that you will be most fulfilled. I mean, I can think, there were in my walk, I had other opportunities that I let slip through my fingers, that things would not have turned out the way. And I'm sure it would have been fine as well. But at the same time, it's hard for me to imagine a life any more fulfilling than what I have. It's different than most. But as far as fulfilling, oh heavens. And actually, in a lot of ways, the whole thing probably had great mercy on some gal that would end up. Because I think my temperament and all is probably better suited to the priesthood. But to just trust that God's got a plan. Ask him. Don't be afraid to ask, because he will show you. And it may be what somebody really desires. That desire is already there, and go with it. But don't be afraid to ask. I would have never dreamed that I would be where I am. Wow. And yet it happened. And I'm not sure that I would change any. I don't think I would. It's been challenging. But everything's challenging. And you're in a position to really help people in a lot of ways. And there's nothing more fulfilling than being able to help somebody else through whatever they're dealing with.
The notion of that trusting and just, and even in times like that where it's allowing the Holy Spirit to guide your words.
Oh, absolutely.
What it is that you need to say or do. It's truly a beautiful gift.
It is. Oh, it is. It's wonderful. It's wonderful.
So
it's a great adventure.
I've appreciated so much being able to hear you.
Sure.
Here today.
I'm really glad that you came. I'm honored that you came to talk to me.
No, it's been such a blessing. And I know, especially with your busy schedules and having 2 parishes, and I know you have mass here at 6 p.m.
And I forget what the readings were. So.
We should probably give Father Don some time to prepare. Very inspiring for where I'm at in my life too. And I know there's going to be some young guy or even some older guy listening at some point, and they're just going to be like, wow, maybe my call is to go and pursue seminary. And obviously it doesn't mean you're going to be a priest.
No.
If you go to seminary, but
And one thing I found out real quick was the ones that I thought, oh yeah, that guy's going to be a great priest. He was gone. and somebody else that I thought, you have got to be kidding, really? That guy? And a good priest today.
Yeah.
And I learned real quick that you don't know. Yeah, you just don't know. You cannot judge because it will be whatever God wants it to be. And everybody's coming from different places and that was one of the beautiful things about seminary. Met people from all over the world and got to hear so many stories.
Yeah.
Oh, it was just wonderful.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing to see.
It is
being able to see just that journey that we all have together on this path of pursuing Christ and pursuing him hopefully at the highest level. And we're all at different points in that journey.
We are.
So,
we are. That's right.
Again, Father Don.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Very good. You're welcome. You're welcome.
And this was the Come Holy Spirit podcast. And I am praying so much for you guys. I know Tom is as well. And I know Father Don will be praying for all of you. And I also ask for your guys' prayers also, because we are, again, like you said, we're all on this journey and we all need more fruit for the journey, more bread for the journey.
There we go. There we go.
This is Come Holy Spirit podcast, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.